Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Good afternoon. So nice to have you all here. Wait a second. Let me see. It says there's a problem here streaming. Let me check. Okay. If you can, if we're going live, if you can see us, let us know.
I'm checking the LinkedIn. Checking. I have the PDF open. Okay, preparing for show interviews in English. Today, I can't see you online.
Let me see. I think it's not streaming. I don't know why, but I think it's not streaming.
I think also it's not
I
streaming.
got this notification. Let me send it to your WhatsApp. I don't know why.
It
Look at
says
this.
on live, so
Yeah, but we're not live. Look at the notification I just sent you. We're having trouble posting to LinkedIn. This may be a problem. We'll keep trying. Wait 30 to 60 seconds to see. If nothing changes, try ending this broadcast and creating a new one. Okay, let's
it seems to
wait
be
for
a
a
problem
while.
from StreamYard.
Yeah, that's weird. Pre-live. Click to join. Yeah, it says pre-live. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Let me restart it and then to see if it works. Okay?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not streaming anyway, so let me finish. Maybe I'll have to create another link. Okay? So, are you using your LinkedIn profile, streaming with your LinkedIn profile?
I'm using my LinkedIn profile for this session. Yes. My
But are you streaming on LinkedIn? Because probably that's why.
There I
Hi,
am.
so we're
I
live.
clicked.
I think we're live now.
Okay.
Yes, we are. So nice to have you
Refresh.
here. Can you hear me?
Refresh. Yes, I can hear you. Can you?
Awesome. So we can start. Yes, we are already on LinkedIn. Um,
Oh yes.
yes. Oh, thank you so much, people, for being here. So sorry. We had some issues with, connecting. I don't know why. But we're here and that's what matters. Okay. So, Facundo, thank you so much for your invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here with all of you. Let me know if you can hear me here
I
on
can hear you.
Discord. If you can hear me on Discord, and if you can hear me on LinkedIn. Okay, because this is crazy. Like having different places to look at is. So we're talking today, of course, as usual. We're talking about job interviews. But in this specific case, we're talking about preparing for job interviews when you are in entry level. Okay, so Welcome everyone. If you have any
That's right.
questions, if you have, anything to share, just let us know. If you want to share your experience on applying for entry level positions, let us know too. Okay. Now, to start with, entry level positions are jobs that require minimal professional work experience. Okay. Most of the time, you can recognize entry level positions by the way they are marked in the job description, right? Now, we're talking about entry level jobs, positions, because Facundo has a really cool community, an IT community, a really cool IT community, in which that is called Primer Empleo IT, right? So before we continue,
Mm-hmm.
Facundo, can you tell us a little bit about your community? What did you do there? Tell us about that.
So, Primer Empleo IT, or in English, First Show IT, is a community where we gather people from all specs from the IT world, like senior, semi-senior, experts, newbies, all kind of people, so we can help each other to find our first job on the area. We do projects, we do campus, we do boot camps, we do these English practices. For example, there are a lot of people that they are kind of new. They are
Mhm.
not prepared for a show. They want an show, a dollar one, but they don't have the trust on them to get the show, to do an interview, to prepare the CV, to be on
Mhm.
the field. So we are all trying to help this. Um, I'm one of the staff. There are
Mhm.
currently I'm the more newbie on the IT world. I represent the in the first show step. So I'm happy to be here with Gabby that gave me the opportunity, that gave us the opportunity to learn more about this experience.
Absolutely. No, thanks to you, for your invitation. So let's talk about this, first job. I mean, if we're looking for this, first job opportunity, probably you have some experience in different, positions or in a different industry, but not on this one, right? And that is key when you're preparing, because there are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you're answering your questions. Now,
Yeah, right.
for this kind of interviews, I mean, when you're new to the position that you're applying for, when interviewing you, I mean, entry level candidates or applicants, recruiters want to ask questions to draw, your best qualities, your ambitions, the areas that need improvement, of course, right? And your answers will help them determine how to deal with conflicting viewpoints. How would you, overcome this or that situation? How would this be reflected in your behavior at work and things like that, right? So they tend to ask situational interview questions. Okay, I'm gonna share with you a PDF at the end. I'm gonna send it to all of you so you can, like read a little more, like go deeper into this. But this is called situational interview questions, right? In which you receive hypothetical scenarios that test how you would use your skills, and not about your previous experience because you may not have it. So, how would you use your skills in these work related situations, right? One of those questions could be, what would you do if you didn't know how to answer a client's question? For example, if you're in customer support, right? So they would use these situational interview questions instead of behavioral questions, right? Like, can you tell me an experience that you have with your last client or something like that? Because you're not supposed to have this, experience, right? Also, I mean, something that is also important is skill-based assignments, and I suppose this is absolutely common in IT. You know that you're
Mm-hmm.
required to do some tests. So that is to ensure that you complete your projects, accurately, effectively on the deadline, right? So they can trust, in those skills. And I have this I work with a recruiter, and she works with IT, people recruiting IT people. And something that she always talks about is that you guys should highlight your skills. I mean, no matter what your skills are, you should highlight them, especially if it is an entry level job, because it's like you don't have the experience that a senior or another person may have. Then you need to highlight the things that makes you, stand out from the others, right? So, and it also relates to the company's culture, right? Because they want to know if you are going to be a good fit for the company's culture, especially if it is an international company,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. Do you have any comments, Facundo, or any experience or anything to share?
I'm 100% of what you just said. There are a lot of side thinking about sharing all my
Hmm.
skills because a
Yes.
lot of entry level positions are more about what do you can give to us about projects,
Yep.
groups, learning
Mm-hmm.
more that skill. And for example,
Mm-hmm.
the more you know about your skills, they
Mm-hmm.
want more humanities than solid knowledge. So, what can
Absolutely.
you give us? You can, for example, lead a team. Hey, no, but
Mm-hmm.
I know how to do React, how to do Node, how to do a lot of programming stuff. Yes, but we need a team leader that
There you
knows
go.
that. So it depends of where you are. If you're starting, you need more skills. That's
Mm-hmm.
in from IT.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, well, because we're talking about the technical, things. But remember that there's also I mean, you as a non-native English speaker, and that is something that I like to talk about
Mm-hmm.
too and highlight is like your mindset as an English speaker, right? And what I always recommend, and I there was a person that I interviewed some sessions ago. She was talking about people or applicants who candidates who apply for jobs and they don't have the English level that is required. And I was like, we have to
Mm-hmm.
talk about that with Facundo, because that is an issue. I mean, if you don't have the level, do not apply, period. I mean, just prepare first, right? Try to improve your English first and then go and apply for that job. But if you're not sure, I mean, there are many, like there are a lot of tests to test. Well, a lot of options for you to test your level. But the point is, if you don't have the skill, to communicate effectively or at least to share your ideas clearly, prepare first before applying, because then, I mean, it's not worth it, right? And if you do have the level, then trust yourself. Something
Yeah.
that I don't know, like a lot of people are frustrated is that, I mean, they don't feel confident in their level. So you whether undervalue your level, or like you really don't care, you really don't acknowledge what you've done with your English, and that is very important. So mindset is key. I mean, when you're talking about job interviews, when you're talking about looking for a job in general, I mean, your mindset is key. You need to
Yeah.
understand that it's okay if you make mistakes. You don't need perfect English. And what's perfect English, anyways? It's like, who can define that? So you need to be able to communicate effectively, to be intelligible, that people can understand what you're saying, that you can understand what others are saying, especially in your technical, vocabulary, right? Their technical world. And if you got that skill, then those skills, then you can apply, freely, absolutely. But if not, then don't do it. I mean, just prepare first, take a course, do something about your English, and then start applying, because they're not going to hire you, and then it's going to be frustrating.
Yeah, we have a mindset in this first show, I think, that
Mm-hmm.
do it. You are not sure if you can do it, if you can have the skills, the emotional mindset. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't know, it doesn't matter. Do it. Uh, hit the head against the wall, like we say here. Um, Try it. Get the interview. Uh, be the best you can do. If you think
Yes.
you cannot do it, try it. See why you can do it. But always be studying, always
Preparing.
doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have the skill, the English skills to do the job. Okay, prepare, but
Yeah, of course.
try it.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? When people are in this interview process, you need to start attending interviews. I mean, there's no point in, I mean, you need to start, even if you don't feel confident enough, you need to do it anyways. I mean, maybe
That's
you're
right.
going to get stuck the first two, three interviews, but you have to continue, right? Because you need to practice. And the only way to improve, whether English or your technical skills or whatever, is by doing. So, and that's why,
100%.
yeah, and that's
Happens
why.
to me all the time. Like I read an entire series of books in English, like
Mm-hmm.
a ten book series, a decalogy, and a pentalogy, a 5 book series, all in English. Wonderful series for the last 2 years. And I thought like reading was going to make my speaking better. I never started. I never went to a speaking club like this. So I pushed that matter. I push it. I push it until 1 month ago that I
Mm-hmm.
started this. So we need to do it. We need to practice
Mm-hmm.
if you want to get better
Yep,
in
yep,
any matter.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's like people always ask me, Gabby, what do you do to learn English? How can you speak? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Practice.
practice. I mean, there's no secret. It is all about now. I read something that I was like, it opened my eyes to. And it's, of course, you need to practice to be confident. But before being confident, you need courage. You need courage to start doing whatever you got to do, right? So to start in front of the PC and updating your profile and updating your resume and start looking for a job and attending job interviews, you need to be brave, right? You need courage to do that. And then
Yeah.
you're going to be confident, because people say, I want to be confident and I want to speak fluently. Okay, great. What are you doing about it? Right? So that's the point. What are we doing about it? So let me just quickly, like review here. Guys, if you have any questions, what a great t-shirt. How can I get mine? Well, Umberto, you're in Mexico, so I don't know. I'm in Chile. Guys, if you have any questions about entry level jobs, or if you have any questions about anything we're discussing right now, just let us know. Getting this, first job in a specific position it's hard, but it's absolutely possible. It's absolutely achievable, right? So I'm gonna share this
Yeah.
PDF with you later so you can, read a little more where we're talking about mindset. These are some tips regarding the interview, like before the interview, what things you should do and you shouldn't. We will discuss this a little later. And this is what we were talking about, situational questions and skill based tests. So these are two things that you're going to face when you are being interviewed for the first time. I mean, for a first time position, a entry level job, because they need to know what you got, right? You have to sell yourself and they need to know what you got to offer, right? What you can bring to the table. So you have to highlight your skills, right? And you have to answer questions like, are you in general easy to get along with? Are you able or do you have a potential to adequately respond to situations that occur during work? I mean, these kind of questions are kind of general because they are not specific to one industry or the other or to previous
Hmm.
experience, right? But they give the interviewer an idea of who you are, how would you react in a specific situation, right? How suitable are you for this job, for this company, etc.? Are you able or do you have, to potential to adjust to changing work environments? I mean, are you able to work or do you like working individually or in teams, or if you have to move to another country, things like this? Like, how open are you to these
Yeah.
changes?
This is not only for the IT world. This is for
Mm.
everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, any job interview,
Hmm.
of course, any position, any industry. And here are some examples of common interview questions for entry level jobs. And even if you're not entry level, if you're senior, all these questions are important too. At least to analyze because you don't need
Yeah.
to prepare them all, but to analyze, and to understand how recruiters work and what kind of information they're looking for. You see? So if you're entry level, like literally, what internships or professional experience have you had that makes you a good candidate for the role? How would you describe your work
Hmm.
style when working on a project? It doesn't mean that you have worked in another company, but maybe when you were in high school, when you were at university, how would you describe your work style when you were at university, right? Can you describe a class you struggled with during college? What is most important to you in a new job? What activities do you engage in outside of work and school? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is a question anyone, will be asked because it's so common. What motivates you? What are your biggest strengths, your biggest weaknesses? I mean, you don't need experience. You don't need to be senior or being, have been working for 20 years in a company to have or to recognize your strengths and your weaknesses, right? Something that I always tell my students when we're talking about this is when you talk about your weaknesses, you have to specify what are you doing about them, right? They are weaknesses, but what are you doing about them? Are you taking a
Yeah.
course? Are you taking a program? Are you, I don't know, are you using, if your problem is punctuality or organization or productivity, are you using any specific
That's
app
right.
or program to help you? There you go.
I think one of the most important questions are what
Mhm.
motivates you and what's your
Mhm.
biggest weakness? Because on the IT group is what motivates you for these um, skills, for this
Mhm.
IT skill? The money? I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. And
That's
and
the biggest.
absolutely, that's the biggest. Look at this. Well, there are many questions here. I will share the PDF with you later. But some of the questions that are that are very common is like, why? I mean, why this job? Okay, so if you're starting out, if you're at an entry level, why this job? Why this position? Why this company? Why? I mean, are you clear? And
Hmm.
when you as a beginner or as someone that is starting, like all these working in this working context, when you're clear on your goals and when you're clear on the reasons why you're doing things, I mean that's a really good sign for a really good green flag for recruiters, right? Because it's like you know what you're doing and you know what you want. All right. So there are more questions. Describe a time
Hmm.
when you fail at something during your studies. How would you handle a situation in which you disagree with a decision made by a superior, right? Tell me about a time you disagree with a team member. What actions did you take? right? So all of these questions are pretty interesting, and you can express who you are through these answers, right? How would you approach a situation in which you have to persuade a colleague? Tell me about what you would like to learn during the first year at work. And even if they don't ask you this question literally, when they ask you about how did you see
Mhm.
yourself in 5 years, you can answer something like this. You see, I would like to continue learning about this and this and this, or I really like to learn about this program or system, or, because people like that. I like people who like learning, you see, who are eager and motivated to continue learning, right?
Yeah, but you need to be sure about what you are seeing. If they see you are, what do you see yourself in 5 years? No, I see
Mm-hmm.
myself in a bigger. If you are not sure about that, they can trust
Of
you.
course. Yeah.
That's why we are talking about being
Yes. Yeah.
comfortable, being sure, being prepared.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. I always tell them, like, guys, if you don't trust yourself, people will not trust you. You need to trust you are capable. You need to
Yeah,
trust you deserve the job so you can convince them. You need job interviews are to convince the recruiter that you are the best option, that you're the best candidate. You're selling yourself,
totally.
right? So that's it. But you need to trust, you need to believe it first, right? So you can show it to them. Because if you don't trust yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that you deserve this job, they're not going to believe it either. It's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, this person is not sure. Of course, you may be nervous, and that's okay, right? And
If you're
we're going
working
to
on
start.
yourself, you are
Yes.
more sure, more you
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself even better that
Yes.
not studying of what you're doing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I have friends that are
Mm-hmm.
senior level, semi-senior levels,
Mm-hmm.
and they trust themselves. Um, how to do it? They are not studying of what they are doing right now, so they do not trust themselves. But they have other friends that are just starting, and they
Mm-hmm.
trust themselves. They're doing bootcamp projects, and they get
Yes.
better jobs than the seniors
Mm-hmm.
of
Yep.
because the recruiters see that this guy is studying. They trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
They seem like a good team member that maybe someday
There you
in
go.
3 or 5 years they could be the team leader, not a member. So
Yeah.
it's crazy because you see the
Mm-hmm.
senior friend
Mm-hmm.
doing a less paying job that the entry level because of the trust level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, uh, okay, so well, we've been talking a lot about different things. I just wanted to give you an overview of what an entry level interview may look like. Like the questions and the intentions of the recruiter and all of that. And now I'm going to give you some tips on how to prepare, for job interviews, especially if you are, like a non-native English speaker. If the interview is in English, of course. But before jumping into the, like the PDF and the information here, something that is important is to prepare your LinkedIn profile and your resume, right? I always recommend people. If you're applying for, I don't know, support engineer, for example, whatever, I don't know, random.
Mhm.
Look for support engineers profiles on LinkedIn. People from Canada, from the US, from Australia, England. Look for profiles in English and try to get vocabulary. Try to see how they are describing their roles, how they are describing their experience, what do they write in their about section, in the header, what's the vocabulary they're using. That is extremely important. If you're looking for a job in particular, then look for job offers job descriptions on LinkedIn too, and read the description and try to adapt those job descriptions or your resume to the job descriptions, okay, that you find on LinkedIn. That would be very, very helpful because you need vocabulary. And the only way you're going to get that vocabulary, that job interview like vocabulary, will be on job descriptions, professional profiles, etc. Okay, there you go. So
Right.
look at this.
Mindset before.
Okay, so first of all, do not apologize. When you are in the interview or if you're applying, do not apologize for your English. This is like my motto. Do not apologize. If you're a beginner and the position is for advanced, what are you doing there? First of all, you need to prepare a little more first and then you apply. So you don't need to apologize. Now, if it is advanced and you're intermediate, but you know you can do it, right? Because you trust yourself and you know you get the level, then do not apologize. It is okay if you make mistakes. Okay, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being an English learner. I don't know, it's like 70% of English speakers are non-native English speakers. Don't expect the interviewer to understand that you're learning a second language because most native English speakers are monolingual. Most native speakers haven't gone through the frustrations of learning a second language, right? So do not expect them to
Right.
understand your situation, right? Because they don't know about that, right? So when you apologize, and this is why you should it, when you apologize, you put yourself in an inferior position, and that makes them think that you're not good enough. Okay, that makes you think that you're not good enough, and obviously they are going to think that you're not good enough. So imagine I'm in an interview with Facundo and I say, "Hi, Facundo. I'm sorry for my English. I know I'm not good, but I will try." You're just, he's going to be predisposed for the rest of the interview, right? Because I already told him that I'm not good enough. Okay, so avoid apologizing. They will be
Yeah.
biased and they will pay more attention to the mistakes. If there's any, they will pay more attention because you just told them, hey, I'm gonna make mistakes, right? So do not. Okay, that is the first. The second is research the company intelligently, right? Do your research. If you're being, if there is a recruiting company, they don't even share the name of the company until the day of the interview. You cannot do anything about that. But if you are doing the research, try to learn about the company. That's so important. You want to be familiar with the company's products, services, departments, vision, mission, right? Because they're going to ask you, why do you want to work with us? Right? So you need to answer. You need to learn the vocabulary they will most probably use in the interview. If you check their website, you will have an idea of what it is all about, right? And you will have kind of the vocabulary that they use, right? And of course, that will show them that you are interested in the company. Okay, when you tell them, I really would like to work with you because I know that you have this and this and this project, and I'm absolutely excited about the idea of blah 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 blah. You see, it's like, okay, he knows what he's talking about, or she knows what she's talking about. You see?
She took the time to search about us. Like she
There
kind
you
of
go.
wants to work with us.
Yeah, that's it. That's the point. Absolutely. Okay, then analyze the job description, and this was what I was telling you before. I don't know if I can share my screen right now. I'll give it a try. But something you can do is research for companies, and I think I can do that. LinkedIn. Let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I
No.
can see the screen.
Yes. Okay, let me see if I can. Wait a second. So, because I want to show you what I would do, right? So let's talk about, I don't know. Wait a second. Share screen again. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn profile. Here it is. Okay, so let's see. I don't know, what is it? Support engineer. I don't know. For example, now you're going to look for people first of all right? Because you need to create your profile on LinkedIn. You need to update your resume, etc. So you need to look for people in your industry. Then you're going to include filters, and you're going to choose the United States, and you're going to choose, I don't know, Canada maybe, and I don't know, England, Australia, etc. Okay, England, Australia, etc. Right? You're gonna look for people, profiles that are in the position that you're applying for, and you're going to check what they're doing. Right? Let's see if they have, like bios. Self-study, committed to making meaningful contributions to the individuals and organizations. Look at the vocabulary here. Look at the way she describes, right, her responsibilities. Developing a comprehensive, specialized understanding, blah, blah, blah. Training and managing event organizers, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, if you're at an entry level, of course, it is harder for you. So you just have to focus on your skills, right? But if you're senior, obviously you can include all of this information. So my point is, try to look for vocabulary that they are using in your industry. You see, what vocabulary they're using, how they organize their ideas, how they express their responsibilities, the experience that they have, the skills, right? And then
Do
instead of
not copy,
people, you start looking
learn
at
from it.
names. Yeah, of course, learn from them. Take the words that relate to you, right? Take the phrases that relate to you, that
That's right.
relates to your experience, to your skills, right? And then look for job offers, right? And check here. Okay, these are some of the results. And look for the description. You see? Resolve customer issues, support a mix of self-managed and led customers, collaborate, create and update documentation, work hard to solve customer problems, right? How can you tailor, adapt your resume, your profile to these job descriptions? Okay. So that's the point of analyzing the job description. Okay. What they may be expecting from you. If the company offers what you're looking for, you need to know if they are offering what you're looking for. Maybe they are not, right? You need to look for keywords they use in the industry and for this specific position, right? And what are the key skills that they want or that they need? All right. Any questions? Any comments? No questions?
I
Now,
think for now,
not yet. No problem.
not yet.
Now, number 4 will be, and this is extremely important for us as non-native speakers, pay attention to your voice and be clear. Okay? I mean, this is extremely important. First of all, your main goal is to be understood. I mean, you want them to understand what you're saying. You don't need them to be, oh, he's fantastic. He speaks so fluent. He's like a native speaker. You don't need that. You need them to understand what you're saying, right? And the first thing
Mhm.
is you need to speak slowly. Why? Because when we're nervous, we start speaking quickly because I don't know, it's like our brain wants to get out of the situation and then we start blah 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 blah, right? So in job interviews, people tend to speak faster than they normally do.
Lower.
Yeah. Problem
Mhm.
is, if you speak faster, there's more probability for you to make mistakes, right? Because you're not thinking, you know, you're not taking the time to analyze what you're saying, to analyze the question, etc. So
That's my
first of
mistake
all,
too.
sorry, Facundo? Yep.
That's a mistake I do very often.
Okay. Well, you're aware now. So
I'm
whenever
aware.
you have an interview, take a post-it, these small pieces of paper, and write down, speak slowly. And then you put it in front of the camera so you can see it, and remember. And we need to speak slowly because there are a lot of things that, as well, if you're Spanish native speakers, there are some things that we do, right, that affect our communication. For example, I don't know, eliminating sounds at the end. So if you start speaking fast or faster than you normally do, it's going to be a little harder for the other person to understand. Remember that, I mean, if it is with native speakers, remember that native speakers, they're not used to listening to other languages. I mean, they just know English and they really don't care about other languages because they don't need it. So they're not that open to listen and understanding, other people's accents. So you need to be as clear as possible. The
Yeah.
next one is project your voice, right? It's not yelling, but it's projecting. It's like opening your mouth, and we're going to talk about modulation. Then mind your intonation. I mean, intonation, musicality, rhythm, prosody, all of that is so important because in Spanish, we're kind of flat. But in English, there's a lot of up and downs. And in English, you have like content words and function words. And then you have to, um, raise your voice, like to emphasize some words. So your
Mm-hmm.
intonation is key. And then, of course, which is related to projecting your voice, is modulate, like open your mouth to produce the sounds that you need to produce. Pronounce every single word. I mean, do not do, oh, I'm going to do connected speech. I want to go. I want to go. I mean, do not. Just try to pronounce every single word. Try to be as clear as possible. The idea is not to surprise the interviewer with your English. The idea is to help them understand you, right? To make it
That's
easy
the
for
goal.
them to understand you, right?
I just made a mistake. That's the goal, or I just could say that is the goal.
Well, but it
For
depends
example,
because we're
it
not in an
depends.
interview.
Right?
So, and it depends, yeah, and it depends on how confident you are, right? Because there are people who are advanced speakers, right? And they are pretty sure of what they're saying and they are pretty sure of their level. And it's great. You can use connected speech, and that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome, right? But if you're not sure yet, do not take the risk, right? Just play safe, right? For the interview. And then learn how to structure and create your own answers. I mean, you need a structure. In some, one of the ways in which you can structure answers is with the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result. So if you learn how to structure your answers, it will be easier for you to keep focused on answering the question. Because when you don't know how to structure, you're going to finish, you're going to end up talking about your dog or your cat, and people will be like, wait, what? Right? So try to structure your answers so you can keep the focus, right? Because it's very easy to get distracted. And you have to create your own answers. I mean, do not look for answers online because
Mm-hmm.
those are not your experiences, those are not your skills, right? So you need to focus on your experience and your skills. Okay. Do not memorize them. Mind your English tenses. Remember if it is past simple, if it is present perfect, if it is a conditional, right? Try to remember that there are different tenses that you got to do for different purposes. Okay. And then you have to analyze if your answers are convincing, right? Is this
Mm.
really what I want them to know? Is this really what I want to transmit? I mean, the message, the energy, the passion that I want to transmit,
Do I
right?
believe what I'm saying right now?
Yeah, great. Exactly. Do I believe it?
Mm.
Sometimes my students, they start writing their answers, and then I ask them to read the answer again. And I ask them, is that what you really want them to know? And they're like, no, this is so basic. And it's like, of course, so go deeper. You see, I mean, you need to go into the detail, right? What is it that you want them to know? Because they don't know you. They are not in your mind. So you need to be as
Mhm.
clear as possible, right? And then additional tips. If necessary, show them that you're eager to continue improving your English. I have a lot of students that are applying for jobs. They are beginners, they are intermediate, but in the interview, they let them know that they are working on their English, that they are improving, right? That is extremely important.
That
Number
we can do.
two,
Well,
Facundo,
highlight
yes,
your soft
sorry?
skills and hard skills.
Exactly.
That's so
Very good.
important on the IT world. That what do you
Mm-hmm.
know to do? I know how to do a page, web page. Okay, you are
Mm-hmm.
a student on how to be better on that. Of course, I'm doing a course. I'm doing an
Mm-hmm.
institute. I'm doing projects with friends. Of course, perfect. So you know how to do this, and you are getting better. You are improving of what you do.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
good.
And believe it or not, soft skills nowadays are even more important than hard skills. I mean, there's so many, resources out there for you to learn how to create a website, right? It's like not anyone, of course, but there's a lot of people who can learn that, right? But what makes you different, right? What makes you
Mhm.
valuable for our company, right? What's your take on it? What are you bringing to the table, right? Prepare questions to ask the interviewer at the end. And this is so important. I mean, you should always have questions to ask them. I don't know, regarding one of the most commons is regarding the onboarding process, right? Or regarding the company's culture too. Okay? So think of the questions. What questions would you like to ask them at the end? Dress up properly and bring your resume with you. Of course, if it is in person, you print it. If it is online, the PDF, because sometimes they have so many candidates, they don't have it handy, right? So if, oh, do you have your resume and you don't have it at hand, it's like, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? So just in case.
Mm.
Then show them that you care about the company and it's not just another interview for you, right? Show them that you care. And finally, ask them what is next. I mean, what is the follow up? Um, do you have to wait? Are they going to send you an email, etc.? And then after the interview, you just gotta prepare. Like in some cases, I think I have it here. Let me see. In some cases, you can have some thank you notes. You can send them a thank you note, for example. Here we
Mhm.
have some examples of questions. How would you describe the responsibilities of the position? How much travel is expected? Is necessary, right? Is relocation a possibility? What is the company's management style? Do you have a policy for helping new members of the team get on board? So that is the same question. Why is this job available? Is this a new position? Do you provide professional development opportunities? Those are really important questions, right?
Mhm. It's helpful when you have researched the enterprise.
Mhm.
If you didn't research, sometimes there are a lot of information on the web page, on the LinkedIn, on the Twitter of the company.
Yep, yep, yep. Let me
Important to research the company.
right here in the chat. Can you listen to us? Because it looks like they cannot listen. Okay, let us know. So yep, I'm almost over. So the last part here after the interview is sending a thank you note, right? After the interview, I don't know, after 1 week or 2 weeks after, you can send a first follow up email, right? Like, this is Facundo. I was so, glad to participate in this, recruiting process. I was interviewed 2 weeks ago and I would like to know. And then if they don't answer to that, but you don't receive, like
Yeah,
anything, then 2 weeks later, you can send the second and last follow up. Okay, so that's it. All right.
I love to ask for
Um,
feedback.
yep.
I
Sorry.
love the feedback. Like can when I can get the show that they send an email, hey, we
Mm-hmm.
just found another guy that
Candidate. Yeah.
suits
Mm-hmm.
better for our company or the candidate, and I said, hey, that's no problem. Thank you for the email. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent a few questions of feedback. Who was my level?
Mm-hmm.
What did the other candidate have that I did not? And
Yes.
like maybe
How can I
3 to
improve?
5.
Mm-hmm.
How can I improve? Hmm. A
Is
few
there
feedback
any
because
ex- uh, is there any missing, from the description, right? That
mhm,
I don't know, I need to work on, I need to prepare more. Is there any certification I'm missing? Something like that. That would be very helpful.
yeah,
Awesome. Great. So I don't know. Those were my tips. I may have more, but I don't remember right now.
maybe we can prepare for another season.
Absolutely, absolutely. And these tips, you can use them for entry level jobs, but also for senior positions. I mean,
Hmm.
whatever. And in my opinion, it's all about courage, right? To go for it, and then confidence to convince them that you are the appropriate, candidate, right?
Candidate. Hmm.
Once we're sure, I mean, there's no way they are not going to hire you, right? That's my point.
I like that. So, Gabby, I think it's time to
Yes, I
close
think I
the.
yes. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know if they could listen to us on Discord. We can do this on Discord again if you want to. Okay, later, no problem.
Yeah, I'm talking with the staff to open up more entry. I don't know how to say redes sociales,
Social media?
um, social media, because we only have
Mm-hmm.
Discord for now. We
Okay,
can't reach the Facebook because it's the same group but different owners.
okay.
So I'm pushing to open a LinkedIn from Primer Empleo, to open a Twitter for Primer Empleo, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so we can get more reach
Yes.
and
Yep,
be more ready
absolutely.
for the next.
And you guys need to be on LinkedIn. Really.
Yeah,
You can even create a group on LinkedIn and you can start interacting and you can start working together, to boost your profiles, because that's what's, I mean, that's the social media you need to be in. So, yeah. I'm
Totally.
so excited.
I'm totally agree. I'm pushing that matter. I'm pushing that so we can make that happen.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I think there are no questions right now. If you're watching the replay, guys, just leave the questions in the comments and we will get back to you. Please follow this community. I'm going to send Facundo's LinkedIn profile and, like, so you can reach out to them on Discord and all of that because it's a really cool
Hmm.
community and there's a lot of information. It's like you're helping them a lot, sharing information. So
Okay, I just sent you to
awesome.
WhatsApp
Let me put
the
it here in
Discord
the
server
chat.
link.
Okay, so this is, guys, Primer Empleo IT. The link is here in the LinkedIn chat. So if you want to connect with them, just click the link here and there you go. Okay, and connect. Thank you. Start networking, guys. I mean, the first thing that you gotta do really is to start networking. Look for other people in in your industry. Learn what people are doing online. I mean, there are so many companies on LinkedIn. There are so many interesting online magazines, and you can share their articles on your profile, and you can, like tag other professionals and tag other companies and I don't know everything on your industry. There's so much information in the IT world, and you can share all that knowledge on LinkedIn, and you can start creating authority on your personal brands because even if you're working in a company, you are a personal brand. So if you start from an entry level with your personal brand, I mean, it will be amazing. Okay, so that's what I would recommend you all. Thank you. Thank you, Facundo. Thank you so,
Totally.
so much for
Hmm.
inviting me.
Well, thank you, Gabby. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity of this interview, the PDF,
Absolutely.
a lot of valuable information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's more on my website. And if you need something else in particular, just let me know. Okay.
Hmm. Of course.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Gabby. Thank you, people, for being here. Thank
Absolutely.
you, the guys on Discord. We'll see
Yeah.
this Saturday, I think.
Yes. Yeah, we have a free speaking club on Saturdays. You can join us if you want to. It is free. And well,
Hmm.
this Saturday is our um, last session for 2022, by the way. So you are more than welcome to join us. And it will be great to have you all. So you can practice. Agnes here. You can join us and practice with us too. Every Saturday at 10:30 a.m., 11 a.m. Chile time.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Is that WhatsApp group too? If you want
The WhatsApp
to
group
share
too. Yeah,
the.
absolutely. Sure. Let me send the link here.
Do
Yep,
you
you
mind
can
if I
join us.
share the WhatsApp group on Discord?
No, absolutely. Just feel free. I'm
Perfect.
gonna share it here in the on LinkedIn. There you go. There you go. Awesome. It's been a pleasure. If you have any questions or if your guys have any questions later, just let me know. Okay? It will be a pleasure to help you all.
Okay. Well, bye bye,
Thank
Gabby. See
you.
you
Bye
this
bye.
Saturday.
Thank you so much. Bye bye, everyone. I'll see you again anytime soon. Well, next Monday, probably. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Have a good
Bye bye.
one.